Alright, we're here to look at the HP 4120 Lync Phone Edition IP phone. And we have a all business looking phone here. Not surprising from HP that this is the case. It's not a small phone. I mean, it has a good, substantial, solid feel to it. One of the things that HP has done is made it so that when you hang the phone down, there is no clunk. There's no plastic against plastic. There is, if you take a look in here, there's little rubber feet. So when you do an overhead page and hang back up, you don't have that rattledy clunk. Alright? So that's one of the things that is different about the HP 4120. Of course, it's Lync Phone Edition, so the screen or the screen size, the firmware is similar to other Lync Phone Edition phones. So we won't go into that a whole lot. That's pretty standard stuff. It's Lync Phone Edition. You pretty much get what you get. One of the things that is probably unique about the HP 4120, and I'm forgetting what the lower end model is, but this has better together USB built in, so there's a USB cable that can pair it with the PC. But what I was going to say related to the buttons I think are the biggest buttons on any Lync Phone Edition phone. They're fairly sizable, and they're hard. They're not rubberized, so they're, get a picture of that button right there. So they're nice sized buttons. Some people complain that when you press on the side you can't be sure if you hit the button. I can see why they would say that. They seem to work. I've been using the phone the past 2 weeks. It seems to work. Pretty decent. You seem to hit it. It can feel like you're not quite sure if you hit it, but they usually go. But nice big traditionally laid out buttons. They're pretty sizable. And when we compare them to the Polycom, these feel like little chiclet buttons, and they feel, they're they're much smaller in comparison to the HP buttons. One thing, it's no surprise because all of the Lync Phone Edition Aries, except the CX3000 conference phone, they do not have a dedicated dial and hang up button. That's not a problem with the HP 4120. It is the design, I think, of the Aries series phone, as long as they are not a conference phone. I'll admit, frankly, the CX3000 has a dedicated hang-up pickup button, and I like that. These do not. Really, if you're going to make a call, you hit call on a programmable button instead of one that is dedicated for call and hang up. But that's all Lync Phone Edition phones except the CX3000 conference phone. So no surprises there. One related to tilt. The HP 4120 has two tilts. And basically, you take off this mount and flip it around, and then it tilts less. It has less of an angle. This is the high angle. I have heard some comments that they would like it to be tilted a little further. And if you see that glare, and when I tilt it up a little further, you don't see it. That is, in reality, I find that just a little bit more of an angle avoids that glare and seeing the screen at an angle. In all fairness, the Polycom CX600, the highest tilt is exactly the same. I've tested it as the 4120. So once again, no surprises, no challenge. They're the same. Although it would actually, I've heard of people putting a little piece of something underneath there to tilt it up a little further, and I can see why. But 2 levels of tilt. The Polycom CX300 has 3. It could be noted that Polycom CX300 at its highest tilt is exactly the same as the 4120. Although the 4120 in its second position of the low tilt is much lower than the lowest on the CX600. so related to the tilt. And really, tilting them is a matter of toolless, just taking off this, taking off the plastic mount, flipping it around, and then it tilts less. All right. We have, in comparison, the light for when you're in a call. It's a nice big light, quite a bit bigger than the CX3 or 600. And then also there is the voicemail light, which, if I am thinking correctly, it's in the button here. Well, no, I'm not. I know it is in the button. I was just thinking what the CX600 is, but you have the in-call voicemail button. And while we're talking about LEDs, of course you see the standard Lync presence light there. We have a headset light, so it lights up if the headset is on. Speaker has a LED. The mute also has a oh, hang on, let me check that. 355 call. I think there's a light in there as well. Let's verify.
County.
Yep, it's red.
Main menu. Say a city and state, or say
Alright, so if you want to hang
driving
up.
directions.
And alright, talked about some of the lights that are on the phone. Talked about the tilts. Surprisingly, some people from the road say, "Oh, this unit is so big." One of the things that might be surprising is it's slightly narrower than the Polycom CX600. It is a big square unit, and the handset is entirely inside the frame of the phone. It's taller than the CX600, but it is actually narrower. And the reason it can be narrower is because the speakerphone is behind the handset, whereas on the CX600 it's to the side and the handset sticks above it. So the HP is taller, which really doesn't take up any more desk space, I would guess, but it is actually narrower in width. Another thing, it does have a gigabit switch. Let's just put this thing on its side, and you will notice that there are indicator lights in there blinking away. I see that as a positive thing, so you know when you're plugged in if it's working right. And it also has indicator lights for the switch port. We can see some of the other ports in here. We have the power cord, of course it's PoE. We have the Better Together USB, and we have in here, we have that, if I can get that out of the way, we have the headset plug. And then on the side here, we have another USB. Alright, let's just flip this thing over again. Alright, there are slots in the back that I presume can be used. I haven't seen a wall mount, but the way the cables are, it could be wall mounted. If there's no wall mount made, you'd have to make your own, but it looks like the slider that you use for the desk mount could also be used for a wall mount. And why don't we show the in-call light? I don't know if I did that. Good old test. So there you see when you're in a call.
County.
And there you hear the speaker quality, which is good.
That's Wallace, New York.
Alright, so we'll just end that. Alright, the HP 4120. Been using, not quite a first impression review because I've been using it for probably about 2 weeks. Seems to work great. It's a Lync phone edition as far as the firmware goes, and we talked about the other things like the big buttons, narrower than some of the other phones. Does have the Ethernet light indicator lights, whereas the other units do not in the Aries series. And we talked about the tilt levels. Alright, the HP 4120, another solid phone for Lync that is certified to use with Lync. Alright, thank you.